commit to. And the crazy part? These tests are rarely direct. They happen in subtle, everyday moments that reveal your true character. The way you respond in these moments tells him everything he needs to know about you. If you've ever wondered why a man sometimes pulls away, goes quiet, or challenges you unexpectedly, it's not random, it's deliberate. And today I'm going to show you exactly what these tests are, why men do them, and how to pass every single one with confidence. By the way, if you've ever been confused by a man's hot and cold behavior, you'll want to stay until the very end, because the last test I'll share is the one men use when they're about to decide whether you're the one. Have you ever been talking to a man, everything feels smooth, and then suddenly he pulls back, becomes distant, or says something that feels a little strange? You didn't do anything wrong, but in that moment it seems like he's watching you differently, almost as if he's waiting to see what you'll do next. Here's what many women don't realize. When a man is truly interested, he doesn't only feel attraction, he also puts it to the test. It's not in some manipulative game or calculated move, but in a quiet, subconscious way. Deep down he wants to know, can she handle pressure? Will she overreact? Can I trust her with the deeper parts of who I am? You're not being tested to lose or be punished, but to show that you are the type of woman who won't fold, fake it, or fall apart when things get real. These tests don't happen randomly. They have meaning, and they give him clear signs about who you really are. So if you've ever felt confused when a man suddenly shifted the mood, slowed down his replies, or said something that made you second guess yourself, you weren't imagining it. You were being measured. And tonight we're going to uncover each silent test, every small move, and show you exactly how to pass them without losing yourself, chasing him, or pretending to be someone you're not. By the end, you'll see dating through a perspective most women never do. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So why do men even test women at all? The truth is something most advice skips over. Men don't test out of cruelty, but out of clarity. Many times, it isn't even a conscious plan, but it's still very real. When a man begins to care about a woman, when he sees her as more than just someone passing through, the emotional risk grows higher, the stakes rise, his defenses go up, and suddenly his instincts step in. Masculine energy is built for self-protection, especially when it comes to feelings. For a man to open up, to really trust and invest in a woman long-term, his mind has to feel safe, and his emotions need to feel steady. So how does he figure out if you're the real thing? Someone who can bring peace, stability, and emotional safety into his world. He watches. He tries subtle things, not to trick you, but to see if your reactions reveal what's beneath the surface. He may tease you lightly, not to be cruel, but to see if you're comfortable with yourself or if you quickly get defensive. He might pull back for a little while, not because he's disappearing, but to notice how you deal with distance. Do you panic and chase, or do you hold your ground with self-respect? It's not about games, it's about emotional patterns. Men who are emotionally mature don't just look for chemistry, they watch for consistency. They want to know if you're still kind when you feel unsure, still respectful when you're let down, still centered when you don't get your way. Because for a man who's serious about love, not just attraction, these small moments show him your true emotional strength. Some women fail these tests without realizing they were even being tested. They think he lost interest, they assume they should try harder, send more texts, or find ways to fix it. But that's the trap. And it usually backfires. The woman who passes doesn't chase, doesn't put on a performance, and doesn't get thrown off by the unknown. She stays rooted in her own worth. And that's what changes everything in how he sees her. Men are searching for balance. They want to feel drawn to a woman and at the same time safe with her. That's rare. Many women bring spark but no stability. Others bring comfort but no challenge. But the women who truly stand out are the ones who can give both. Here's the bottom line. Men test because they want reassurance. They need to see that when pressure appears, or when emotions are running high, you won't turn reactive, desperate, or fake. They want to know you are who you seem to be. That kind of woman, the one who shows strength without losing softness, she's unforgettable. And if you're listening closely, there's a good chance you're already on your way to being that woman. Now that you understand why men test, let's look at how it actually shows up in real life. Because the chances are you've already been through these silent tests without knowing. The first one is the subtle pullback. It usually happens early on, maybe after a great date or a few days of steady texting. Then suddenly, his replies slow down. He's not as quick to answer. He might even go a day or two without saying anything, and instantly your thoughts begin racing. Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? Should I send another message? What you may not know is this moment isn't always a sign he's fading. Many times he's simply watching how you react to not knowing. Do you fall into panic, try to fix it, or can you mirror the space and stay steady? This isn't about being cold. It's about showing that your sense of worth isn't tied to his constant attention. Women who know their value don't collapse under silence. They stay calm and protect their energy. The second quiet test is playful pressure. He'll make a comment that challenges your opinions, preferences, or boundaries. Not to insult you, but to see if you'll shift yourself just to keep him happy. He might say, "You don't like sports? That's kind of dull." Or he might joke about your career, your goals, or your choices. On the surface it looks harmless, but there's purpose behind it. He wants to see, will you stand firm or will you hide your truth to be agreeable? A woman who changes herself to win approval might think she's helping, but he notices, and not in the way she hopes. The most attractive response isn't snapping back or shrinking. It's staying calm and clear, smiling and saying, "Nope, I don't like sports, but I promise I'm not boring." That tells him, I know who I am, and I'm not here to audition. The third test is emotional poking. At some point he'll do or say something that stings a little. Maybe he takes longer to reply after you shared something personal. Maybe he cancels plans at the last minute. It doesn't always mean he's a problem, but it does create a moment that makes you feel something. And once again, he's watching. How do you handle letdowns? Do you spiral, accuse, or lash out? Or do you acknowledge it, stay grounded, and keep your dignity? These tiny tests are where your emotional maturity shows itself. Most men don't even realize they're doing it consciously, but they never forget how you made them feel in those moments. Women who pass aren't flawless, they're just genuine under pressure. And that's what makes them stand out, not because they're perfect, but because they show strength without losing softness. So the next time a man suddenly goes quiet, teases you, or does something that unsettles you, remember, it may not be the end, it may be a quiet test, and how you respond will set the tone for everything that follows. Here's the part that rarely gets mentioned. It's not the test itself that defines the connection, it's your response to it. And that reaction, more than anything else, shows him what he needs to know, sometimes without you saying a single word. When a man begins to feel something real, when he's thinking about lowering his guard, he's not just checking for beauty or chemistry, he's searching for emotional safety. He's watching for patterns, and the way you respond in moments of tension, even small ones, gives him a clear view of who you truly are under stress, confusion, or uncertainty. If he steps back for a few days and your first move is to chase, send more texts, over-explain, or assume the worst, he notices. Not because he's sitting there judging you like a teacher, but because he's taking mental notes. Can she handle not being in control? Can she trust the process, or will she start to panic the moment things don't go her way? Now let's make this clear. Men aren't looking for women who never feel emotion. They're looking for women who know how to manage their feelings in a way that comes from self-worth. So if he challenges your opinion and your instant reaction is to agree, even when you don't believe it, you're not being agreeable. You're abandoning yourself. And men of quality don't want someone who folds under the slightest push. They want someone who can calmly hold her ground. Not from ego, but from truth. When he makes a mistake, forgets something, or disappoints you, and your reaction is to lash out, give the cold shoulder, or start unnecessary drama. You might think you're teaching him a lesson, but what you're actually showing him is that your emotions control you instead of you controlling them. That you haven't yet built the emotional stability that long-term love needs. But imagine instead he pulls away and you notice it, but you don't spiral. You don't ignore it, but you also don't overreact. You allow him his space, you keep living your life, you stay connected to yourself. That kind of presence is rare, and men notice it immediately because it's so uncommon. Most women either chase or collapse, but you remain grounded. That doesn't mean acting cold, it means staying clear. It means knowing your value doesn't shrink just because someone took longer to reply or gave you less validation in the moment. And that calm, steady energy, that's the exact thing that makes a man lean back in, even after pulling away. In a world full of overreaction, your ability to remain centered is what sets you apart. Not just as a partner, but as a woman who knows her own worth. And now let's get into what high-value women do in these exact moments. Because their responses are what instantly change the way a man views them. These reactions don't just help you pass his silent tests, they can completely shift the whole connection. They don't require pretending, chasing, or performing. In fact, the most powerful reactions are often the simplest. Take this for example. When a man grows distant, your natural instinct might be to do more, reach out, ask what's wrong, try to fix it. That's human. We're wired to want connection. But here's the difference. Women who know their value don't chase clarity, they embody it. So instead of reacting to his silence with fear, they meet it with presence. A strong response could be as simple as pausing, taking a breath and saying, "I notice you've been quiet. If you need space, I respect that. I'll be here when you're ready." Calm, direct, no drama. Feel the energy of that? It's not cold, it's not fake, it comes from self-respect. And that energy lands differently, because when a woman can hold emotional space without spiraling or doubting herself, it sends a clear signal. She doesn't need him to regulate her emotions. She's already whole. That is rare, that is magnetic. Here's another example. Suppose he teases you or lightly challenges something you care about, maybe your career, your goals, or your beliefs. A low-value reaction would be snapping defensively, shutting down, or changing your stance to keep him happy. But a high-value reaction is playful yet firm. Something like, "You're free to have your opinion, but it doesn't change mine." Said with a smile, not a wall. See how that works? It holds your ground without hostility. That balance of softness and strength is exactly what emotionally mature men find irresistible. And then there are those small moments when plans change, when texts slow down, or when something just feels a little off. Most women instantly translate those moments through fear. They wonder, what did I do wrong? But women who value themselves filter them differently. Their thought is more like, if something's meant for me, it won't need chasing. That calm, almost unbothered energy isn't indifference, it's deep self-trust. And men can feel it. They sense when you're steady enough to not perform, not prove, not push. And that energy acts like a mirror, drawing him to step up, not pull away. So ask yourself now, how do you usually react in those subtle testing moments? And more importantly, how would it feel to answer them from your strength instead of your fear? Because the moment you do, everything changes. Now, there's something else that absolutely needs to be said, because this is where many women get confused or even hurt. What's the difference between a man quietly testing you and a man manipulating you? At first glance, they can look similar, but knowing the difference is critical. Here's the truth. Not every test is healthy. Not every pullback is innocent. Not every challenge is about depth. Some are about control. Some come from insecurity, fear, or immaturity. And if you can't tell the difference, you could find yourself stuck in a cycle that slowly eats away at your confidence. Here's how you tell them apart. When a man tests from a healthy place, it comes from curiosity, not control. Most of the time, it's unconscious. He's trying to figure out, can I trust her? Is she steady? Can she meet me where I am? Even if it feels confusing, there's still a sense of respect under it. You still feel seen, you still feel like yourself. Your voice isn't shut down, it's simply being observed. But manipulation has a different energy entirely. It's about power. It's not about knowing you, it's about controlling you. The biggest sign is how you feel around him. With manipulation, you feel constantly tense, like you can't just be yourself without paying some price. It's like you're walking on eggshells, always trying to get it right so he won't pull away, punish, or blow up. When a man is testing, he may step back for a short time to observe. When a man is manipulating, he steps back to punish. A healthy test feels like a single moment. Manipulation feels like a repeating cycle. You notice the loop, the pattern that keeps you trapped. She takes it as information. She notices, but she doesn't obsess over it. She doesn't twist herself into a different version just to keep him interested. She stays true to who she is, even if that means he chooses to leave. Because deep down she knows that losing someone who can't treat her with respect isn't really a loss at all. It's protection. That kind of self-respect is powerful, it's rare, and it's exactly the quality that makes a man respect you in return. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. Attraction may catch someone's eye, but respect is what creates a real bond. You could be the most stunning, charming, supportive woman in a room, but if you don't show respect to yourself, he won't either. Not because he's cruel, but because we naturally teach others how to treat us through the way we treat ourselves. When you hold firm boundaries without over-explaining, when you say no with kindness but certainty, when you stop entertaining inconsistency because you'd rather stand alone than be disrespected, you send out a message. That message is clear. This is a woman who values herself. If you want a place in her life, you need to show up the right way. This doesn't mean being cold or building walls. It means being clear and aware. It means knowing that your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves front row access to your world. Self-respect is what allows you to step away from confusion, even when your feelings are still there. It's what gives you the strength to stay silent when silence is the only thing that makes sense. And it's what keeps your power in your own hands, instead of giving it away. A man might never say it directly, but when he feels your self-respect, he either steps up or walks away, and either way you win. Because a woman who honors herself doesn't just pass a test, she changes the whole dynamic. Now let's bring it all together. We've covered so much here. The quiet tests men give, the importance of responding with emotional strength, the role of self-respect, and the difference between healthy testing and unhealthy manipulation. But now it's time for real talk. No fluff, no filler, just the truth you need to carry with you. And it's this: you are your highest value. No man gives you worth. No relationship creates your confidence. It all starts with you, how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and how you allow others to treat you. Everything else flows from that foundation. Men may test, it's normal, part of how they figure out if it's safe to love you. But never forget, their tests don't define your value. Your response does. Staying calm, steady and clear is what really speaks. Don't lose yourself in trying to earn approval or chase validation. The moment you turn inward and hold to your own standards and boundaries, everything shifts. You become magnetic without effort. You become undeniable because you're rooted in truth. And here's something else you need to remember. Not every man is worth your energy. Some will test from insecurity or immaturity. Others will test because they genuinely want to build something meaningful. Your role is to listen to your intuition and watch his actions, not just his words. Time always reveals who someone really is. Trust that when you show up as your true self, you will naturally draw the right man. The man who honors your limits, values your presence, and wants to build something real. So take these lessons and use them to strengthen your confidence and clarity. Practice responding instead of reacting. Stand firm without hardening your heart. Stay mysterious by staying authentic. And above all, lead with self-respect. Because at the end of the day, the way you treat yourself sets the standard for every relationship in your life, romantic or otherwise. Thank you for being here and giving your time to this. If this message connected with you, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more honest conversations like this. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. I'd love to read them. And always remember, your worth is not negotiable. Own it, live it, and watch your relationships transform. And before you go, let me leave you with this thought. Love should never feel like walking on eggshells or begging for attention. The right person will not make you question your worth. They will recognize it and honor it without you having to prove anything. Real connection isn't built on constant tests or endless guessing games. It's built on honesty, kindness, respect, and the courage to show up as your true self. You don't need to overperform, overgive, or constantly adjust yourself to be chosen. The moment you stand firm in who you are, you stop chasing and start attracting. Think about this for a second. How many times have you wasted energy worrying if you're enough, when the truth is, the only people worth keeping in your life are the ones who already see your value? Stop carrying relationships that drain you. Stop fighting to prove your place in someone else's story. Instead, write your own story where you are the main character, and let people show you they deserve to be in it. That shift alone changes everything. It's not about being perfect, it's about being aligned with who you truly are. So as you move forward, remind yourself daily, I am worth respect, I am worth effort, I am worth real love. When you live from that truth, you automatically filter out anyone who isn't on the same wavelength. And the best part? You don't have to force anything. The right man will not just respect you, he will celebrate you. He will show up, not because you begged him to, but because he sees your presence as a gift. That's the kind of love you deserve, and that's the kind of love you'll attract when you keep choosing yourself first. Now I want to hear from you. What part of this message hit home the most for you? Share it in the comments. I'd love to know. And if this spoke to your heart, don't just keep it to yourself. Send it to a friend, a sister, or anyone who needs this reminder today. Sometimes the right words at the right time can completely shift someone's perspective. And one last reminder, your self-worth isn't up for debate. Never let anyone convince you otherwise. Hold your ground, walk with confidence, and trust that when you honor yourself, the world adjusts around you. Keep growing, keep glowing, and keep demanding the respect you already deserve.